Hi, this is Julie from the Sewing Palace, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about ruler feet and the foot that we use on our machine to work with the rulers and why they're so important. Also, some of the tools that we'll be playing a little bit with. We have something called the Supreme Slider, which makes our fabrics move more easily when we're quilting. We have some great ruler kits that we're going to be featuring when we show this. There's two different brands. They're really wonderful. We're going to play a little bit on a panel, which is pre-marked, believe it or not. You can't tell it because it's so hidden in there, but it's easy to see once you start looking of how to use different rulers and how to practice. It's a great practice panel. We're going to use some machine gloves or any kind of quilting gloves that helps us to move our fabrics around more easily as well. But I want to talk a Frixion pen for marking, and another tool that's a square that you use to actually mark your fabrics so that you have some lines. And we're going to utilize that a little bit later. We have a wonderful foot that BERNINA has put out. It's a number 72 foot. And what's so nice about the 72 foot is it's adjustable. So with this little spring right here, you can adjust the height. Then I'll do it a little bit more when it's on the machine so you can see it. But it adjusts and it'll move, hop up and down, so it's got some tension that can move on there and make it a little bit more user-friendly. So if you're using really heavy battings, you can adjust it so it's higher, and a flatter batting, you can get it closer down. So you've always got the perfect foot and the perfect height of your foot when you begin to go. So I'm going to go over here and put this on our machine. We've got our Supreme Slider on the machine already, and I've threaded the machine. Now this is, when I take this tool, it's nice if you have a square on your quilt that you want to mark, you can just mark some simple guidelines along here using the ruler. But what's also nice is there's some additional guidelines that I can now rotate that and very simply line those lines up along here and mark an additional line that I could use for a guide when I was working on a block. So it's a really nice tool to be able to do what you need to do to mark things if you're going to be marking your quilt for quilting with your rulers. So we're going to go ahead and start over here. I'm just going to start with putting on some gloves because it really does make a difference holding the rulers, and I think also moving things around a little bit. So just a straight ruler. This ruler has some little grippers on the back which make it much easier to use. Now I'm going to lower my foot, and you can see it's pretty close. It's almost a little tighter than I would like, so I'm just going to reach and I'll turn this a little bit so that it just raises a little bit. But I want to show you how it can just really raise up. Now I'm going to lower that. Can you see the space in there? Now you don't really want that space in there when you're quilting, but if you were having a higher loft or a double batting for some reason, you might want that height on there to make your quilting a little more smooth. So I'm just going to lower it down. I want it kind of just so it moves easily, but want it close. The other thing, it's really important to think about your rulers you're going to be using. See how BERNINA's created this nice base all the way around the ruler, so my rulers fit, but they're also fit all the way around nicely so I can get around that. That's a huge thing. Not all ruler feet are created that way. The other thing is these are about 1/4 of an inch thick, which makes them easy to use. So if you were using your regular, say your embroidery foot that was really thin, chances are it would hop underneath your ruler. So it's really important to do this with a ruler foot, not your embroidery foot. Even though it looks like it would work, you just risk the chance of breaking your needle and breaking your ruler. So we're going to just lay that under there. I'm going to start by bringing my needle up and down so that I can get my thread to the top, because you always want to start with your thread to the top. I'm going to lift that, pull it over so you can see that we've gotten that thread out of the way. And then we're going to lower it down. Okay, I'm just going to start by putting my ruler right next to the foot just to create some straight lines. So the way this is going to work is you can use your ruler lined up where you want to go. I'm using some black thread so you guys can pretty much just see what I'm doing and see that movement. So the key here in the learning part is to learn how to move your ruler and your fabric and be able to do what you want to do. So we're going to sew over to the left a little bit, and then I'm going to line that ruler back up. And if I wanted to, there is measurements on here. So I could say I want to be about 1/2 inch. I'm not quite there yet. Can you see this is a 1/2 inch mark right here? So I'm just going to move over a teeny tiny bit more, and then I can line this up on the 1/2 inch all the way through. I'm going to put my hand there, and now I'm going to quilt up the line. And the key is just keeping a steady pace so that you're sewing your stitches are nice, and just trying to hold that ruler in place. And you can see that I've now made 2 lines on there. So lots of fun things you can do with straight line stuff, but there's also some great things you can do with some curved rulers. I'm just going to move this out of the way. I've got a nice curved ruler here that's kind of a fun one to do. I've created a little bit of a box. I don't know how good you can see it, but I'm going to put this in the box. The hardest part is it's not hard, but you're not sewing on the exact line you think you are, because of course this is 1/4 of an inch from the edge of your ruler to the center of your needle. So that takes a little bit of getting used to, but you're practicing, so you're just going to practice and practice and practice until you get it right. And if you're not exactly accurate, no one's going to see it when your quilt is done. You'll know, but you're not going to tell them, I hope. So once you do that, you just go ahead and move it, and then we're going to move back across. And you're just creating a nice little design. Pretty simple and easy. What I want to say to you is I love the size of the rulers. They're not too big. I think if you get a ruler that's way big, it's too hard to hold on to. And that's the biggest key. You need to have a nice size ruler that's going to work well. So I'll just turn this so you can kind of see what we did with that little bit of a curve here. Isn't that a nice little fun thing? So lots of rulers. Just a few. There's come see us on Sewing Club, because we've got a lot of rulers to show you. We've got a trunk show coming in with some great designs done that you can see, and you'll get to see how this wonderful ruler that just does straight lines works and keeps you straight. So even if you're scared to do any of this, you can do it with this, because this just keeps you straight in line, zoom zoom, and you are done. So see you on Tuesday at Sewing Club. This is Julie from the Sewing Palace. Thanks.